The finals tier list for every single item in the game. That's what we're doing today. And I'm going to offer some tips and overall thoughts on all of these items and weapons. I've played this game since basically before the closed beta. I'm going to base this on my own personal opinions on these items and also what I see other players using when I go against them, and also the pros, the top players in the game. Taking this all kind of information together to basically list every item and give my opinions on them and how they can be used right. We're going to start with heavy and their equipment. I'll start with the RPG. Now, the RPG for me is S tier. It is really strong. It will one-hit lights, and on top of that, you can blow holes through pretty much anything at a distance, which is really, really useful if you want to, let's say you got a point up here, right? You're defending this point, but you need to hold from a distance, because if you're in that, it's just dangerous, right? It's kind of dangerous. You can blow a hole in the wall, and then you've got an angle on it, right? You've got an angle on the cache point. If they start to defuse it, you can throw in any sorts of nades, you can shoot them, and you're going to have a great time, which is really, really cool. So for me, absolutely one of the most useful pieces of kit for heavy. And I think that it's going to open up a lot of options for you to create holes in buildings so you can get views of the situation, which is really important. Next, we have Barricade. To me, Barricade is C tier. Now, this thing is almost indestructible. You can destroy it like this, right? And it's gone. But with weapons, it's pretty much indestructible. But when you realize, like, any ordnance will just take it out, it's not so great. Sure, you can get clutch reses off with it, or even clutch steals, but people can just jump over it. They can go around it. It's not really much of a threat when you got this static barrier, when everything in this game is destructible. And there's so many better choices. I just don't think it has much versatility or use. Next, we move on to the C4. Now, the C4 for me is S tier, much for the reason that the rocket is, right? Let's say you are on the roof of this building, right? And you've got a diffuse going down here. You can throw it down, and then you've got an angle of the cache out down there. My guns are glitching out, as always, but yeah, that's pretty good. Or alternatively, let's say the diffuse, the cache point is above you, right? And you want to try and go for a steal. You can go like that. Or there's many situations where you want to make a route through a building. C4 just makes it easy. And another great thing with C4, which is really kind of crazy, or all of the mines, to be honest, you can go like this, throw it off that way, and kablam. It's really, really powerful. And I love sticking C4s on the cache point, and then if I see someone defusing it, I'll just pop this off. It'll probably eliminate them, or at least destroy the cache point and send it to the floor below, which is really, really handy. So for me, it's S tier, much the same reason as the RPG. Next, we've got the Dome Shield. Now, the Dome Shield is S tier as well. This thing is amazing. Firstly, it's going to allow you to res teammates. You can ninja steal the cache out with this tool. It's going to give you a little pocket of basically freedom to do whatever you want, and it's the most important tool for getting cache out stolen, in my opinion. But look at this. You can actually shoot through it, right? You can shoot through the Dome Shield, which a lot of players aren't really aware of. The crazy thing is, look, you can even throw this on a player and shoot them, but the enemies can't shoot you through it. It's really, really strong, and you can see why. It's an amazing tool. It's just going to provide you so much utility. Absolutely. Not just S tier, but S plus tier. It's so incredibly useful. Next, let's talk about grenades. Let's start with the Goonade. I think this one is probably B tier for me. It can create good opportunities to save yourself. Like, it can block holes in roofs and all that stuff, and block pushes, but there's so many ways to counter it. I mean, you can literally just jump over it. It can be destroyed with a bunch of explosives and stuff. It's just a temporary barrier that lacks the same sort of power that a Dome Shield or anything like that can. Now, Fragnade, I'm going to give this A tier. It can do a lot of damage. For that reason, it's really good, and unlike a lot of other games, you kind of can't really tell when a nade is at your feet. So you could be in amongst the chaos, and you're a light class, let's say, and then you get a random nade at your feet, you're not even aware, and you're gonna die, right? It's really good for that reason, and you can throw a couple nades into a building, do a lot of damage. It's great at doing damage to infantry, not so much doing damage to sort of terrain, which is an underrated feature, because sometimes you don't want to blow up the whole building, you just want to do some damage, and this will do the trick. Flashbang is A tier as well. It can be useful. I mean, flashes in any game are annoying, right? You can throw a building in, it's got quite a long radius, so chances are someone in this building, whatever, like on this floor, let's say there's someone in that building on this floor. We're going to throw this flash in. We got two charges as well. They're both going to be flashed. Let me show you what the flash is like as well, right? Let's say you get hit by a flashbang. Look at this. Like, it's horrible. That's going to give you enough of a push. I'd say the flash is only really useful if you're ready to push together with a communicated team, but I would definitely give that A. I think flashbang, frag grenade, very useful. Goo grenade, not so much. So A tier for these two and B tier for the goo grenade. We got the pyronade as well as two mines. Now, the pyronade is definitely A tier as well. Now, one thing you may not know about fire in this game, let's say you create some gas, right? Or there's some gas, it's really annoying, you want to push the point. The pyro will actually get rid of the gas. It will get rid of it. It will destroy all the gas, which is really, really useful. So that versatility there makes it really great for countering gas. Sometimes I feel like I take the pyro and then people don't really use gas. It's a bit of a pain to use up that slot, but it does do damage on players as well. So the fact that it counters gas and does damage to players, and also you can throw it on the cash point to have this sort of area of effect that's going to stop people from cashing out, gives it a lot of value. I would close, you know, I would maybe even think about putting this in S tier, but I think that the nades have sort of more of a temporary effect, which gives them less power than the mines. And with the heavy, you have explosive mine and pyro mine. Explosive mines are horrible to deal with if you're a light, and any other class will do a lot of damage to them anyway. They will one-shot lights. And the crazy thing is, let's say you got this shield up, you can just quickly equip your mine, throw it down, and go like that, and it's going to explode on the light, like immediately, and just blow them up. It's so horrible and annoying, and it's an amazing, amazing counter for lights in this game. There's a lot of lights going around, and the great thing is there's a lot of cloak lights. This is going to deal with them when they try and ninja defuse or ninja stun you and then shotgun you, right? So yeah, for me, the explosive mine is straight S tier. Next, we got the pyro mine. Now, whilst the explosive mine will do instant damage, the pyro mine is still a very good tool to put on the cash out or to defend the cash out. Because if someone walks on this, it's going to do a lot of damage if they step into it. You may get some kills with it. You're less likely to than you would with the mine, but it creates this air of effect that's going to slow down cash out. So it's basically a really good option as an alternative to the gas mine, because you can't get that on the heavy, right? So for that reason, it's S tier. It's going to stop cash out, it's going to do a lot of damage, and it's going to slow down pushes. So S tier for me. Now let's talk about the abilities for the heavy. I've talked a lot about this in previous videos, but I think it's really, really good. Firstly, the mesh shield is just amazing. You're going to be able to force people to reload by holding it up. They'll shoot your thing, and then you can just go like that and shoot them back once they're reloading. I've got so many kills like that. You can back up into a corner, right, and just stop bullets. You can do this whilst people are cashing out. You can do it to go up zip lines and use it to protect your teammates. It has so much versatility. It's so strong, and it's absolutely the best ability for the heavy. And there's so many cases where it's really useful, especially if paired with a shotgun, right? I talked about this yesterday, but let's say this dude is shooting me. I just put up the shield and then kablam him, right? And then put it back up again. It's just nasty. Or you can do the mine trick, right? You got the mesh shield up, you throw a mine on the ground and put it up like that, blow up a light. It's really ridiculous. Easy S tier. S plus tier. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. All right, moving on. Charge and Slam, I'm going to give A tier. You can one-hit lights and do a lot of damage and stun people and absolutely destroy buildings, which has its uses for sure. There's definitely a lot of cases where it's going to be useful. It's just a shame that you have to take it instead of the mesh shield. That's literally the only reason it's A tier, because there's just a better choice. One little trick is that if you jump and use it, you'll do a slam immediately onto the ground. But that slowing effect afterwards, a bit of a pain, and it lacks that sort of team utility that the mesh shield does. Not really much. It's a very simple ability, to be honest. So For that reason, A tier. Goo Gun can be fun, but much the reason why the Goonade isn't so great, this one is just not so useful. I mean, yeah, you can like create little options for you to climb up places, which, you know, heavy lacks movement, but hopefully there's enough utility around to climb up, or you have your team to help you. And let's say there's a team on a suspended structure like this. By the time you've set up something to like climb up here, you're just gonna have a hard time getting up there anyway, because it takes so long. For me, I think the Goo Gun is just a B. It's fun, but it doesn't really have much utility, really, I'm not gonna lie. Now, I talked about the weapons in a video yesterday and which are the best weapons, so I won't go into too much detail for the weapons in this video, but I'll just give a quick overview of my ratings. You can check that video if you want to know more about each weapon and the tips for them. Lewis gun is a straight S. The shotgun is an S. Sorry, I've already got equipped. That's a shotgun. That's an S. The M60 is a B, simply because it has horrible iron sights and bad recoil. Can't even show it because it's glitched, but you'll see in my other video if you want to check that out. Grenade launcher, to me, is an A. It can actually ruin people's day, and it's basically like, in my opinion, sort of like a longer range shotgun that can cause a lot of destruction indoors as well. Definitely underrated in my opinion, so I can give that an A. And then we have the sledgehammer and flamethrower. Both super like niche options that are only going to work well in very weird situations. So I'm giving these both B. Like, they could do well, and I've seen people do crazy things with them, but they're just so niche, and like you're basically without a gun. You're without a gun when you take these options, so they are B. Right, with that being said, that is heavy done. Let's move on to medium. Now, let's start with the specializations. Healing beam is a straight S. Not only can you heal your team up super quickly, right? I want to show a couple tricks that's going to help you to deal with some situations, right? Really amazing healing. Let's eliminate this guy first. How do we put up that shield so that's not shooting? Okay, check this out. Let's say you need to do a cash deposit. You need to steal a cash deposit. There's a bunch of gas over it, and if you don't get that cash deposit now, you're going to lose the game, right? Look at this. Look at that damage, right? But look at this. It stops the gas damage. It gives you enough healing to counter the gas damage, which is going to allow you to steal cash deposits inside of gas. And not only gas, but also flames. It's really good at that. It's one of the most underrated features of it. It's easily an S tier. It's going to keep your team alive. It's going to allow you to stay in fights for longer. It's the ultimate support item in this game. Absolutely S tier. But unlike the heavy, there are other choices which are really good. The Guardian turret, in my opinion, is really great at the moment in the current meta. It's so annoying to fight a Guardian turret. It is so annoying. It just gets on your nerves. It's a constant threat as people try and push in, and it will get you kills. It will stop pushes. However, that's all going to change when people start to realize that a glitch nade will just... one glitch nade will stop it from working. Or a cloak will stop it from working. Or a smoke grenade will stop it from working. There is so much utility to counter the Guardian turret. So don't get me wrong, it is good, but it has so many counters that I personally believe it's not S tier, it's not the best, it's an A. Now let's talk about recon senses. Recon senses is going to allow you to see enemies through walls, right? Pretty useful if you want to go and hunt players, sure, right? But in my opinion, it's kind of easy to figure out where people are in this game. Every time they jump, it makes a really loud noise. Footsteps are pretty easy to hear, in my opinion. And I just feel like recon senses is not going to give you much team utility. And as unfortunate as this is, when you play medium, people kind of expect you to have that team utility, right? You could do well with it, and I've seen a lot of players do well with it, but it lacks team utility. Your team is going to struggle when you're just going around getting kills, which, you know, that's great, that's fun. But if those kills don't turn into cash outs, then it's not going to do so well. So for that reason, I'm giving it a B. Once again, I'll just quickly talk about the weapons before we go into the items here. AKM, S tier, most versatile weapon in the game. FCAR is A tier for me. It's really great, actually, if you can learn to sort of make sure you hit your shots, because the 20 mag is a bit of a limiting factor. The grenade launcher is a B for me. It's good, but it's a bit of a pain. It has less ammo than the heavy grenade launcher, and I just feel like there's better choices for the medium, with the medium being a class that's sort of more useful for mid to long ranges. If you take this grenade launcher, you lack one long-range weapon on your team, which is a bit of a problem in my opinion. The R357 is a B, but maybe an A against heavies. It's kind of hard to use, but it is an absolute heavy destroyer. Has a really long reload time, but if you can hit some juicy headshots with it, you can destroy lights and you can destroy heavies really effectively. But unless we have like a super heavy meta, I think that I would rate it a B, just simply because it's not so versatile. It has a long reload, load shots per mag. For that reason, these two are better. Model 1887 is a B as well. Can be good, but once again, 6-round shot, not so versatile. I feel like you need versatility as a medium. You're kind of like that support role. You're that role that's going to keep everyone together. If you got a shotgun and there's someone long range, I mean, you know, it's not going to do as well as an AK. It can be good. Don't get me wrong. It's not a C tier, but it's not the best. Riot Shield, it is a C tier. It's actually really annoying to go against a Riot Shield player. Like, really, really annoying. But, I mean, at the end of the day, there's so many utility options. You can throw fire up someone's feet. You can do a lot of stuff. It's just not really much of a big deal. It's just annoying to see someone running at you with a Riot Shield, but easily counterable. You put yourself in a bit of a weird situation when you're holding this up. So, yeah, it's just not that great. C tier. Right, let's go into more depth now into the items. Let's start with the APS turret. So the APS turret is basically going to stop any explosives from flying in. I think it's not going to work with my own explosives. Oh, hang on, I've got to put it down again. So it doesn't stop friendly explosives, which is kind of cool, but it will stop a bunch of abilities being thrown in. And with there being sort of like a counter with all of the items, right? You have gas, which is countered by fire. You have smoke. Sorry, you have fire, which is countered by smoke. Then all of those things need to be thrown in. You know, they need to have nades, they need to have mines and all that stuff. Having this will stop all of the counters to your other defensives. So for my opinion, this is actually an S tier item and is massively overlooked. Once players start using more utility to get rid of defenses, get rid of mines to create a push and all that, this is going to really help to keep your defenses up. As easily an S tier, for my opinion. I would actually rate this higher than the turret, the actual turret ability, because it stops good players from shutting down your defenses, which is really, really important. We talked about the explosive mine and the pyro mine before, but we also have the gas mine. Now, to me, both of these are S tier. You just want to throw this on the cash out point. It's going to stop people cashing out. It's going to cause a lot of problems. In my opinion, the gas mine is actually more important than the explosive mine for medium, because you want to just fill your cash point with these things. Every time someone touches it, it's going to stop a cash out, and may even get a bunch of kills as well. It is so annoying to deal with, and not many people are using pyro nades or anything to counter it. So it's a really, really great option, and I guess as the meta evolves, maybe it will become less useful if a lot of people hold pyro nades, but right now, super annoying to deal with, absolute S tier. The explosive mine is S tier as well, much for the same reason we talked about before. You can throw it on lights, or you can put it in places, blow up lights, get easy kills, stop diffusers with it. Really, really, really good. Really good. Kind of talked about that one. Glitch trap. Now the glitch trap is going to do the same thing as a glitch nade. So basically when it activates, your abilities aren't going to be able to be used and you'll get this glitch effect. But the trouble is with a glitch mine, you don't have control over where you put it, right? If someone walks over it, I mean, that's great, but it's just not so great. You don't really want to put a glitch trap over a diffuse, over a gas mine. Because if they get glitched, then, okay, it's not really going to stop them. It's not going to do damage to them. I think a glitch nade is better. You have more focus on where it lands, who it's going to affect, and when, as opposed to it just randomly going off when someone steps on it. So, for that reason, the glitch trap for me is a B. Like, the glitch ability is really cool, but only in nade form. Defib is straight S. Reviving your teammates really quickly is really good. And here's a tip if you didn't know. If you revive your teammate, they'll have like a little second of invulnerability. So you revive them in the middle of combat. Doesn't matter. They'll get up. They'll be invincible for a few moments. So just absolutely must take S+++++. You should always take defib in my opinion. We talked about flashbang, frag grenade, and goo grenade, and pyro grenade already. Gas grenade is much the same as pyro, except it provides gas, right? It's going to counter fire, Now, jump pad and zipline, in my opinion, are both S tier. I think it's really useful to have a jump pad to get your team up on height, and you can slide into it to get more sort of height and distance, which is really nice. And also, unlike other games, you have a lot of air control with this thing, so you can sort of like move around in the air, which is really nice. Really, really useful. I think in some cases the zipline can be better because, let's say, right, look, we want to go up there, right? Well, we can't reach it. We cannot reach it. And we have that moment in the air where we're kind of vulnerable and easy to be shot. Not that it's that much different on the zipline, but we have the zipline. We want to go up there. It's just longer, right? And you can jump on it to get a speed boost as well. Every time you jump, you get a speed boost, which is nice. It can be destroyed, but much like everything else, it can be destroyed. So they're both versatile in their own way, just for different reasons. Both S tier, though, in my opinion. Now, the tracking dart is B. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a skill shot weapon. You track someone, and then what? You got to go and kill them. I mean, what's the point? If you shoot someone, you're going to get basic tracking anyway because the health bar appears, right? You can see that through most clutter on your screen, most visual clutter. I just don't really see the point in a tracking dart. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm missing something out. You can leave in the comments your opinions, but to me, not so great. B tier. Alright, I'm going to just quickly cover the light tier's weapons. We did that in the video yesterday. Once again, you can get more detail there. I'm going to give the LH1, XP54, V9S, and SH1900 S tier. You may be wondering about the shotgun, but basically it's super meta right now to take shotgun cloak. It's absolutely horrible, and I'll show you that in a minute. Those are S tier, though. Really good, versatile weapons, basically all distances, and the easiest weapons. Like, light weapons are just the highest DPS in the game, which allows you to deal with other players having higher health than you. M11 for me is B tier. It just lacks the damage, in my opinion. Yeah, it's got a massive mag. Yeah, you can be active and hip fire with it, but I don't think that's good enough to trade off for the other weapons' damage profiles. SR84 is actually really good. I'd give this A tier unless you're playing a controller, and right now I'd actually give it S tier. This thing has like basically aimbot with the aim assist. When you scope in, it will just lock to people's heads. So it's really, really easy to use. S tier for controller players until they nerf that. Little secret for you. Sorry about that. If everyone starts using that, I do apologize, but it probably needs to be nerfed anyway. Moving on, I would say the dagger, sword, and throwing knives are very niche. You can do really well with them, but it's really hard. If you pair cloak with it, then you can do better with the sword and dagger. But, I mean, I don't know, dude. If you can get to diamond with these, let me know. With that being said, I think they're B tier. They're just too niche, too hard to actually make useful when everyone else has got literal guns and all sorts of utility to throw your way. All right, breach charge. We talked about that already. S tier for much the same reasons. Glitchnade. This is S plus tier. It is the best item in the game. I genuinely believe that. Any utility or any ability can be stopped with a glitchnade. You can stop healing from a medium's heal beam. You can stop cloaks. You can stop all of the heavy shields. You can stop all of the traps on top of a cash out point. You can stop everything with one single nade. All abilities and items are disabled. Turrets, every single item, everything. It's crazy, and you get 2 charges of it like every nade. It's just the counter to everything. It is absolutely the best item in the game, without a doubt. Everybody should be using this, and when they do, the meta will evolve more, and a lot of the other items may not be as valuable, and that's when the APS on the medium, right, which we talked about, the trophy system, will be more valuable. But until then, Glitchnade is S+++++, and I'm not even joking. It's crazy. Fragnade, Gasnade, Goonade, Pyronade. We talked about those. All right, the only nade that we haven't covered so far is the smoke grenade, and I'll show you a couple things before I give it a rating. Right, let's throw some fire real quick. Look at this. The smoke will get rid of the fire. All right, that's pretty good. So it's a counter to fire, much the same that fire is a counter to gas. The second thing about the smoke grenade is it should block health bars, but it kind of is a bit bugged, right? We throw the smoke here. I see the health bar. Like, I can just shoot a health bar through a smoke, which basically makes it pointless. So, yes, it blocks fire, but the fact that it doesn't really block vision is a B tier. It's going to get you killed more than you think, so yeah, B tier for that. Stun gun, in my opinion, is S tier. a lot of people are using the stun gun to stun people and get free kills, and it kind of works like that. But once people realize that the stun gun will affect your abilities as well and just make you feel like, oh, what am I doing? I'm stuck here, right? It will get you free kills. But in my opinion, the best thing to do with a stun gun is to stop a cash out. If someone's cashing out, a quick stun will cancel the cash out. So what that means is you can time it till someone's almost done the cash out, stun them, and then they got to start again, right? So it's going to save you a lot of time with careful planning. Easily an S tier, really useful ability for light, and I think most light classes should probably take it. We've got thermal vision next. I mean, look at this. Like, sure, you can see enemies, but what are you going to do with that? The visibility for enemies in this game is so easily. Once you shoot them, you see their health bar through literal smoke grenades. So I don't know what the point of this is, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I think it's just B tier. There's so many more useful abilities. This gives you more vision in a game where you literally see health bars through all sorts of visual clutter. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's that great. Vanishing Bomb. Now, Vanishing Bomb is S tier in my opinion. Let's say you're running around a corner, right? Someone's chasing you. You throw a bomb, and then you stand still. They can't see you. There's so many times you got free kills by doing this, and it works a lot. And if you don't get a free kill, you can at least go and reposition and go hide in a building or res your teammates. Quick warning though, it makes a massive pink splash on the ground. So if you throw it on the ground and just stand still where you threw it, people will learn to spam it. This is a good counter, right? Just standing here. Well, the enemy can just shoot here and they'll probably hit you. So you want to throw it and then move a little bit further. And that way you're invisible. It's not as long as the cloak, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but it's a great option for when you don't have cloak, because invisibility in this game is so busted, right? I think that's the last item here. Motion sensor, yeah, once again, I mean, it's kind of useful. A tier. Oh, we didn't cover the medium sonar grenade. That's A tier as well. Anything that like tracks players' movement through walls is good, all right? Tracking players' locations when they're already on the screen, not a big deal. But when it's through walls, that's pretty handy. I'd give it A tier. It's just a shame when you have to give up so many other good utility items for it, but definitely useful. So both motion sensor and the sonar grenade. Vanishing Bomb S tier. And then, yeah, let's move on to the abilities. So cloaking device right now is really stupid. If you're full sprinting, it's quite easy to see a player. If you're walking, it's very hard to see a player. And if you're standing still, you're pretty much invisible. And no one's going to see you. And it's such a long use, right? There's been so many times where people are literally sitting in the cash out room. I've killed 2 of the enemies on the team. And then it's just a light sitting with a shotgun, waiting for me to res or start the cash out. And then you just blam them with the shotgun. It's the most broken thing in the game. It is S tier without a doubt. And I think it's really, really busted and needs a nerf, in my opinion. Evasive dash is also really amazing. It's like one of the most amazing tools, and you can do it in all directions. It's going to allow you to get, like, basically dodge a lot of bullets and outplay the slower classes. I would probably, I mean, in my opinion, all 3 of these abilities are S tier. They are so great, but I'll put Cloaking Device first. It's probably going to get nerfed. It's just stupid, in my opinion. It's stupid. And then I would rate it Evasive Dash. And then Grappling Hook. Personally, I actually prefer Grappling Hook. I really like to just use it to get on height really quickly. But the fact it only has 1 charge as opposed to the Evasive Dash's 3 charges, which can allow you to get quite a lot of height, right? It's a bit of a shame. And in close quarters, it's not going to give you the same amount of like survivability. But you can sort of like do a quick boost like that and jump over people's heads. So it has that sort of like outplay potential as well. But yeah, it's a close call between all of these, honestly. But Cloaking Device is basically just free wins. If you learn how to use it, you just stay still, basically. Which is a shame, because we have these really cool movement abilities, and then literally ability that rewards you for just standing there, and it is horrible. It's a horrible time. But yeah, that's all of the abilities in the game. Rated, and why, and also some tips. So hopefully you found this useful. If you did, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio!